Today we have a special guest, Giant Penis. Apparently our views are down and we need to bring in some fresh talent.
I am the biggest, the largest.
Welcome to the weekend update. I'm going to be going over some amazing ways to trade the MMT flow stack indicator. I'm going to show you some ways to pass an evaluation account in your butthole. The market is about to open in a few minutes. I've got these two Apex accounts that expire this weekend. I'm up over $1,000 in each account, so I need a little bit less than $500 to pass these evaluations. However, the accounts expire this weekend, and tomorrow the market's not open on Friday, so I'm going to sacrifice at least one of them, possibly both of them. I'm going to go long on one and short on the other right at the open. I'm going to go in with 3 contracts, just looking for 10 points, and hopefully get somewhere around $600 on one of the accounts. So that worked. There's positive 700 something on one, and the other one got blown. I should probably just do something like that on all the Apex accounts when I'm doing evaluations, just because they have the 30-day time limit and my regular trading style is very slow and steady. So I'm going to disconnect my Apex accounts. So I'm just going to be trading the Lucid and Tradeify accounts today. So back to trading micros the rest of the morning. Try to find some good trades. We just got a lot of hold up here at the midnight and London Open levels here. Got a little rejection there. All right, this 5-minute candle just closed. We got a top wick. We got point of control up into the wick. So a little bit bearish, and we just dropped off over 30 points there real quick in about 15 seconds. Just grabbed a short here. This 1-minute candle had a very nice close below the 20 SMA, this white dashed line. Nice full-bodied candle. Decent negative delta across the board. We pulled back up to the 20. I got short. We dropped down over 20 points there. We did finish with point of control in the bottom wick though, so that's kind of bullish, and now we're getting a pop back up. Got a 10-point long after the close of this candle. Check out point of control down into the wick. We've got some positive delta starting to creep in. Getting a rejection off the 80s here. We had value area low, had the S2 pivot, and then a bunch of reversal signals. Hopped in on the long there. Positive delta started coming in right away. Got my 10-point fill very quickly. Got a nice move up to this cluster of key levels where we are rejecting right back down. All right, it's a few minutes before non-farm payroll. Most of the prop firms are requiring everyone to be out of their trades by 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'll have 20 or so minutes to try and find a trade. Not going to force anything. If something looks good, I'll take it. If not, just going to be watching. Got a nice pop up after the news. Check out where we came up to. These are previous day value area highs. This is part of the MMT extra level indicator. It is not available just quite yet, but we're getting a mighty rejection off that level. Pretty big top wick, point of control up into the wick after the close of this candle. Another push down there. We got a washout signal. It just appeared intrabar on the 5-minute. I grabbed a short looking at the 5-minute candle and looking at the delta that's come through. Mostly negative delta past few candles. We got a bigger top wick forming on the 5-minute. The 5-minute's just about to close. Got point of control up into the wick a little bit, and then we had that 6 washout signal. So based on all those different factors, I went in for the short. Looks like I grabbed 6 or 7 points there. So I'm not going to do any more trading this morning. I thought the moves might be a little bit more wild, but there's really not much going on even after the NFP news. So I'm just going to be done for the day, done for the week. So what we're looking at right here is a brand new setup with the flow stack. I was doing a little practice trading yesterday. I've made everything bigger and bolder. Even the chart buttons are bigger and bolder. I'll show you the settings later in the video. I've got a 5-minute chart. I've got a 1-minute chart in the middle that I'm taking my trades off of. And I've got a higher time frame 60-minute chart. These are all NQ charts. And I have delta for the NQ and the ES. on both the 1 minute and the 5 minute. I've also got two moving averages on the 1 minute chart, a 4-period SMA and my favorite, the 20-period SMA. So the flow stack is painting the inside of these candles. It's also painting green and red arrows whenever all the conditions line up on both the NQ and the ES. I've got some very simple conditions. For a long, price must be above the 4 SMA on both the NQ and the ES, and delta must be positive on both instruments as well. And the opposite for a short. Price must be below the 4-period SMA, negative delta on both instruments. And then we get a red arrow, red inside of the candle. So in this setup, I'm just looking for initial delta pushes, and I want the short-term trend to be bullish or bearish on both the NQ and the ES. And the way I'm measuring that is with the 4-period SMA. And then I'm adding in delta for extra confluence. And of course, I'm paying attention to the higher time frames. I'm looking at some of my favorite key levels. And then I'm using these big ass chart buttons to easily get into trades. I can take market orders, or I can switch this button to pending. I can take a pending buy or sell, and it will automatically put me into a trade when the next buy or sell arrow appears. This is the MMT Market Maker. It's chart buttons for your chart. You can make these suckers as big as you want. I got gigantic candles. I got big flow stack numbers. Everything's big. So the market's getting ready to open in playback mode. Highly recommend practice trading as much as possible. Because as amazing as all of these indicators are, there is no magic indicator that's going to make anyone a better trader instantaneously overnight. In my personal humble opinion, there's no replacement for personal experience and time in the markets. And the great thing about trading in playback mode is that you can load 5 different days and you can practice trade the New York Open the first 1 hour from 9:30 to 10:30. You could practice 5 days worth in 5 hours. So on the weekends, you can be honing in your skills, even though 90% is just going to go right out the window when you're in the live markets. Because when there's actual money on the line, everything is different. And with that lovely intro, let's get into some trading. Now look at this candle. Look at the delta on the ES right there, 3,600. I was about to get into a short right there when I saw this candle close. We had another arrow appear because we are below the 4 SMA on both the NQ and the ES, and we have negative delta across the board. That arrow just disappeared. That's because we had some positive delta creeping in. All right, the candle just closed. Look at this big bottom wick, pointing control down on the wick. Now this 1 minute candle is pretty bullish, but I'm looking at this 5 minute candle. See how much delta is coming in on this ES? That's crazy. I don't know if I really feel like getting into a long right now. Even though the delta on the NQ is pretty dang light, negative 50 on a 5 minute, that's nothing. We're still in the first few minutes of the New York Open. I'm going to give this thing some room to breathe. You only need 1 good trade setup a day, maybe even 2 or 3. There's no need to take 50 trades a day, even though I like to try sometimes. Waiting for the best possible setup, that's where it's at. So we got another arrow back here, intrabar. We keep dropping. The flow stack is in full effect. So we still don't have all that much negative delta coming in on the NQ. And this 5 minute candle is just about to close. So let's say I'm looking for some kind of reversal, but I want to wait for confirmation. I'm in pending mode on the market maker. I can activate a pending buy order there. You see the color change? This button is dark now. That means it is ready to go. It is looking actively for the next long signal. All right, so the negative delta on the ES is just ridiculous. Keeps coming in super heavy. However, the NQ barely coming through at all. So one of those two instruments is wrong. So there's a long signal. It's a washout signal from the MMT polarity. I've got the MMT polarity on both the 1 minute and the 5 minute charts. So right now, I'm hoping this is some exhaustion or absorption, whatever you want to call it. This last mega push of delta on the ES, but price isn't really going anywhere. This is a dinky little candle for all that delta. So hopefully all this negative delta is just getting absorbed. Looks like my stop barely held on by 1 tick there. All right, we got some divergence here. We got positive delta picking up. I'm actually gonna add in there. I'm gonna move my, whoops, I forgot I was in pending mode. So if I wanted to get in immediately, I switch over to market, I hit buy, boom, there's 10 points instantaneously. I'm just looking at all this positive delta coming in on both instruments. And I'm noticing that after this mega push on the ES delta, we didn't get any follow through. I got a washout signal, I got some divergence. You could be using divergence from the ultimate delta. You could be using divergence from the MMT trend and reversal, whatever your favorite kind of divergence is. So now we've got very strong positive delta on both the NQ and the ES. And after the close of this candle, we just popped up 20 points there in a hurry. But you see we had the candle color change live in real time from the flow stack. Started turning green, letting us know that price was above the 4-period SMA on both the NQ and the ES. And not only that, but delta was positive on both the NQ and the ES. And we're getting a nice little pushback up here. So we're approaching the 20-period SMA. I'm not looking for a long right into this 20-period SMA. I want to see a close above the 20-period SMA. Down here on this initial break of the 4-period SMA, we had plenty of room before the 20 SMA. Plenty of room to get into a scalp there. But now that we're up close to the 20 SMA, I'm not trying to get long right into it. I want to make sure there's no key levels right in my way of my take profit. And likewise with my stop loss, I'm keeping my stop loss below recent lows or highs or below nearby clusters of key levels. I don't necessarily have a set number of ticks for my stop loss or my take profit. I just put things where they need to be. Although when I'm scalping on an average day, I do personally tend to go for 10 points, 10-point target on the NQ, which is 40 ticks. But in the off hours, trading the Asian market, maybe I'm only going for 5. If there's wild and crazy price action and volatility, maybe I want to go for 20 or 30. I adapt to the daily market conditions. And none of this is financial advice. I'm just sharing what I like to do personally. If you're able to derive any kind of benefit or great insight, then that is amazing. Kudos to you for using your own discernment. One of the greatest things that I ever did for my own personal trading is to stop listening to other people. I got out of all the groups that I was in, all the trade rooms that I was a part of. Stop trying to follow other people. Stop trying to wait for confirmation from someone else. Stop trying to listen to other people while I'm trading. And I just focused on what I personally saw in the markets day to day. And I think it's great to try and learn from other people, see what other people are doing. But at some point, I think it just ends up being a crutch. And to truly feel confident and know that you have your own edge, just kind of got to go into your own little zone. At least that was my experience. There's exceptions to every rule, I'm sure. One of the many reasons I don't do any kind of education. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach to trading. I think you take bits and pieces from everything you see in the world around you, and you try to put it together, make something happen. And the more personal experience and time in the markets that you have, I think that's the greatest teacher and the greatest key to any type of potential success. Anyone that's doing this trading thing, absolutely batshit crazy. 90+% failure rate takes a special kind of person. So check out this positive delta. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look good? We're above the 20 SMA, about to close. I'm just gonna hop in, market. I'm gonna put my stop right below that recent low there and see what happens. Should I have waited till the candle closed? Probably. How about I add in if we get another arrow? I got a pending buy order set. So if this sucker goes bullish on the delta again, on both instruments, it's gonna add one more contract in. There's my second contract. I'm added in. Blam. I did not like this. Point control up into this top wick. Point control into this top wick on the previous candle. That was just not ideal. When I notice things like that, I'm definitely looking to exit at my earliest convenience. If I'm in a long, I want to see previous candles like this. Point of controls down in the bottom wicks. I don't want to see point of controls up in the top wicks. I mean, the NASDAQ does what the NASDAQ wants to do. But I'm trying to get as many things going in my favor as humanly possible. All right, point of control on the top wick, 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 intra-bar. I mean, I want to go short just based on that. So I'm going to put a pending sell order in. Oh, that was quick. We got the arrow from the flow stack that put us in. We got negative delta. My stop is above the 50 level, which I consider to be a key level. I feel good about that. Definitely do not want to see it break above 50. And I'm looking at this 5-minute candle, and I'm not too excited about this trade all of a sudden. Although the delta looks pretty bullish here. I mean, it's no negative 5,500 that came in earlier. And we got another point of control up into the top wick. I got another reversal signal. I'm going to hang in there, but this is not giving me the warm fuzzies. The things that are keeping me in this trade, point of control up in all these top wicks. We got some more bearish delta coming in. And the fact that although this is positive, it's not as strong as earlier in the morning. There we go. We got another flow stack signal intra-bar. Some strong negative delta coming in on both instruments. And as we were pushing up with all this delta, I mean, point of control is getting stuck up in these top wicks. I was expecting some kind of reversal. Hoping for one anyway. And this 5-minute candle ended up closing with a decent top wick and point of control up into the wick. And then after the close, we just dropped down 15 points. So you could take trades just off the 5-minute chart as well. Wait for the 5-minute close. Look at price action. Look to see if there's any big wicks. Look to see where point of control is. Look to see what delta is like. There's so many options. We're getting a big old push now. All right, so in effort of not having to edit hours of video, I'm gonna stop showing amazing examples of how to trade this amazing setup. I'll be trading with this setup next week. I'll try to put out some trade videos next week. I do still plan on doing live streams. I'm deep in the midst of figuring out where I want to be, what I want to do with my life next. I got a bunch of technical stuff I got to deal with getting the last little bit of software and the new authorization system out. But I'm definitely looking forward to having some more fun with my life, enjoying some of the hard work that I've been putting in. This being an adult stuff is highly overrated. I'm definitely trying to take a break for a minute. So here we have the 1-minute chart with the flow stack, the greatest indicator ever created. Links are in the description. So delta number threshold, 0 and 0 for the main chart and instrument number 2. That just means if delta is at all positive or at all negative, it's going to qualify for a true condition. I've got the delta grid off. This box is unchecked. I'm only using the flow stack, delta numbers above candles. I've got instrument number 2 enabled, which is the ES 1 minute. So there's the delta for the NQ, there's the delta for the ES right below it. And for the signal conditions, it's looking for the delta number threshold and the moving average trend across both instruments, NQ and ES. So use delta number threshold as activated. So we must be positive or negative across the board. We also must be above or below the 4-period SMA on both instruments. Those are the 2 conditions that I'm using. I've got it printing signal arrows. Notice that I have different offsets for the arrows. I've got a bigger offset for the down arrows, and that's because I want these arrows to print above the delta numbers above the candles. I've also got it printing the trend color bars, not the outline. I've got the outline being painted by something else. You could have the outline being painted by the trend flow from the trend and reversal, or the ultimate delta, all kinds of different things. I don't think there's a one setup for everybody. Just gotta mix and match and play around and find out what you like. I've got the ultimate POC on the chart. It's all buffed up. I got a point of control width of 5. I've also changed the width in my data series on these candles to 5 and 5 for the wicks and the outline, so I can see everything big, bright, and bold. I've got the MMT polarity on the chart. It is only printing washout signals. These are my extra strong washout signal settings, 2022 and 2. Got this on price change. Got the 20 SMA, the 4-period SMA, brand new top secret indicator that I might never release. And then I've got the MMT market maker. This is the lovely chart buttons on the chart. I've changed some of the default settings. You'll notice that there's a button height parameter I've bumped this up to 52, so I've made these taller. I've also bumped up the font size to 24. Other than that, everything's the same, but I can easily switch from market order to pending order, instantly get into a buy or sell, or set up a pending buy or sell, waiting for an arrow signal. The MMT market maker recognizes arrows from any of the MMT indicators, but only arrows, nothing else. The 5-minute chart has the same settings for the flow stack, except it is not using a moving average condition. It's just using the delta threshold number condition. And I think I had the delta number threshold set at 100 and 100 for the 5-minute. So there's some more ideas on how to potentially trade with delta, order flow, trend, reversal, key levels, volume, all the good stuff. I appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan at Apex, Apex has 90% off. Lucid has 40% off. No activation fee, no monthly subscriptions. Take Profit Trader has 40% off. Tradeify has 30 or 40% off or something like that. And they no longer have any monthly subscription fees. Thanks so much for your support if you're using code MonkeyMan. Greatly appreciated. There are links to all of the MMT indicators in the description. I wish you best of luck in your trading. Have a great day.